Get ready for breaking news. Military electronics maker Orbit International is reporting Q1 2026 results, showing a net loss of $1.55 million and borrowing $3.7 million, putting pressure on the stock titan. We dive into the details of this financial report and what it means for the company's future. Facing rising production costs. Find out exactly how this aid will be distributed. And finally, in the world of immunology, Degron Therapeutics has just secured a $40 million series of extension, boosting its molecular glue platform development. We explore the immunology plans and how this new capital is fueling their fight against complex diseases. Stay with us for the rest of the show. Noi Dung Kai Tight. Military electronics maker Orbit International Corp. Reported its first quarter 2026 results, revealing a net loss of $1.55 million, narrowing from $2.15 million in the prior year period. The company's adjusted EBITDA also posted a loss of $1.31 million, an improvement from $1.949 million in the prior year. Revenue for the first quarter reached $5.25 million, an increase from $4.73 million, while the gross margin climbed to 23.3% from 12.4%. /N CEO Mitchell Binder attributed the operating performance to weaker bookings in 2024 and the first half of 2025, which impacted delivery schedules, particularly for the Orbit Instrument division. A single supply chain issue delayed a $1.4 million Orbit Power Group shipment, but this order boosted current quarter sales for that segment, contributing to profitability. The Simulator Product Solutions LLC, SBS, subsidiary experienced lower sales due to weaker bookings in the second half of 2025, though operating results improved compared to the prior year, driven by increased sales and gross profit. The company noted that significant costs incurred to support SBS growth have led to precautionary cost trimming, although higher legal fees related to litigation adversely impacted the current quarter's operating results for SBS. /N total sales for the quarter rose to $5,245,000, primarily fueled by higher sales in the Orbit Power Group, OPG, and SBS segments, offsetting lower sales from the Orbit Instrument division, which faced delays in follow-on contracts. NN backlog increased to $13.2 million as of March 31, 2026, up from $12.3 million at the end of 2025, reflecting a general increase in backlog across the Orbit Instrument and SBS divisions. /N looking ahead, Binder indicated that bookings for the Orbit Instrument division are expected in the first half of 2026, stemming from outstanding follow-on proposals totaling over $5 million. Furthermore, SBS has proposed approximately $12 million in new and follow-on business since January 1, 2026, representing a 70% increase over the prior year. Bookings for the OPG and VPX power supplies have seen substantial growth, with OPG bookings up over 100% and VPX power supply bookings up 118% year-over-year. /N Chief Financial Officer David Goldman reported that the company held approximately $389,000 in cash and cash equivalents and had drawn $3.73 million against its $4.5 million line of credit. The company also maintains significant net operating loss carryforwards to offset future taxes. Orbit International operates through its electronics group, developing custom electronic solutions for military, industrial, and commercial applications, with production facilities in Hauppauge, New York, and Carson, California. Dogwood Therapeutics announced strong first quarter 2026 financial results, underpinned by significant advancements across its pipeline and a major strategic partnership. The company reported a net loss of $5 million for the quarter, with R&D expenses totaling $2.7 million and G&A expenses at $2.4 million. The company maintains a cash position of $13.2 million, which is projected to fund operations through the fourth quarter of 2026. Pipeline progress remains a key driver of the company's outlook. The Halneuron Phase 2b trial, targeting chemotherapy-induced neuropathy, has successfully enrolled 164 patients, with top-line data anticipated in the fall of 2026. Furthermore, SB16 has secured FDA investigational new drug clearance, paving the way for a Phase 1b clinical trial, which is fully funded by the National Cancer Institute. In a significant strategic move, Dogwood announced a worldwide development and commercialization partnership for its legacy antiviral assets, carrying a potential value of up to $100 million. This deal reframes non-core assets and provides a substantial financial opportunity for the company and its shareholders. Dogwood's stock reacted positively to the news, rising 9.41%, contrasting with the typical post-earnings weakness observed in previous reports, which often paired pipeline milestones with negative price movements. Analysts are now focused on the forthcoming top-line data from the Halneuron trial, the progress of the SB16 Phase 1b study, and the impact of the new partnership on the company's long-term strategy. The company also filed an effective Form S-3 to register shares for resale, which investors should monitor for potential future capital dynamics. Hartford Governor Ned Lamont is preparing to allocate $22.5 million from Connecticut's newly established Federal Cuts Response Fund to provide immediate financial relief to the state's dairy farming sector. In a statement released on May 13, the governor emphasized that recent federal decisions are pushing many small, family-owned dairy businesses to the brink of financial collapse. Lamont cited several federal factors as the primary cause of the hardship. These include federally set milk prices that disproportionately favor large corporate farms over Connecticut's family dairies, tariff policies which have increased the costs of essential inputs like fertilizer and farm equipment, and the economic pressures stemming from the U.S. war in Iran, which is significantly inflating the costs of fuel and fertilizer. Connecticut's dairy farms are small, family-owned businesses that support jobs and provide fresh, nutritious food for our communities, Lamont stated. Recent actions on the federal level are significantly driving up the costs of dairy production, causing devastating harm to this sector of our economy. We need to protect our dairy farms before they are permanently lost. Connecticut will continue standing with dairy farmers to help these businesses succeed. Under the terms of the law that created the Federal Cuts Response Fund, the governor will soon formally notify the 6 bipartisan legislative leaders of his intention to withdraw the funds for this purpose. These leaders will then have a 24-hour window to review the proposal and disapprove of the expenditure if they choose to, before the funds can be legally transferred. Degron Therapeutics has secured a $40 million series of extension, significantly bolstering its development pipeline and strategic ambitions, particularly in expanding its molecular glue platform into immune-driven diseases. The funding is earmarked to support the continued advancement of its lead asset while enabling the Chinese Biotech to broaden its focus beyond oncology. Degron plans to identify a molecular glue candidate for immunology development within the current year. This move places the company on an uncharted trajectory, as the molecular glue field has historically been dominated by oncology applications. This contrasts with major pharmaceutical investments, such as Roche's $20 million upfront payment and up to $1 billion in milestones for glue antibody conjugates targeting oncology, and Lilly's $1.2 billion deal with Magnet Biomedicine. However, Degron is positioning itself to compete in the immunology space by targeting partnerships with major players. Notably, Novartis is set to sign a $5.7 billion agreement with Monte Rosa Therapeutics in September 2025 to develop molecular glues for undisclosed immune-mediated conditions. In parallel, Degron remains heavily invested in the cancer space. The majority of the recent funding is allocated to its lead candidate, DEG-6498, which is currently in Phase 1 trials for advanced solid tumors. DEG-6498 is designed as a potentially first-in-class, orally available molecular glue degrader targeting the undruggable human antigen R, HUAR, protein. The mechanism involves triggering the targeted destruction of HUAR by linking it to the cell's internal degradation machinery. This latest financing brings Degron's total capital raised to $95 million, incorporating initial proceeds from June 2022 and a prior capital infusion from a Take-Two partnership in May 2024, which suggested a potential company valuation of $1.2 billion. The series of extension was spearheaded by China-based Lapam Capital, with participation from several other investors including Fortune Capital, CSPC and Growth, and GTJIA Investment Group.